In the eerie silence of the underground laboratory, a whisper of defiance
echoes.
Amelia, once timid, now stands at the precipice of an unimaginable journey.
Struggling against psychic restraints, she senses a newfound strength within. Little does she know, the labyrinth she's plunged into
about to navigate
holds the key
holds secrets
to
that
intertwine
alien ventures
as the
and
shadows
government
deepen.
experiments.
Join us on
As the
Psychic
shadows
Odyssey,
deepen,
the Trappist
join us
Enigma,
on
where the
Psychic
ordinary
Odyssey,
shatters,
the Trappist
and the
Enigma,
extraordinary
Episode 2
emerges.
of The Awakening.
Welcome to Episode 2
In the
of
eerie
The Awakening.
silence of the underground laboratory, a whisper. In the dimly lit underground laboratory, my body strained against the restraints that held me captive, ripping into my skin, sending jolts of pain throughout my body. With each futile attempt to break free, my heart raced with a mixture of desperation and determination. As I struggled, John's eyes caught my attention. There was an intensity in his gaze, a flicker of defiance. With a surge of adrenaline, John freed himself from the clutches of his bed. My hope sparked anew, but my restraints remained unyielding. My heart raced. How did you do it? My restraints are cutting into me, too tight to escape. I whispered, desperate for a way out. Desperation filled the room as Emil whispered urgently, "They're coming." Fear etched deep lines on his face as he quickly feigned restraint, concealing his newfound freedom. The thudding footsteps grew louder, echoing ominously through the cold, sterile corridors. "Shh! They're coming!" Emil cautioned, his eyes wild with fear as he quickly feigned, still being restrained, concealing his freedom. The thud of multiple footsteps grew louder, echoing through the cold, sterile corridors. My mind raced desperately, seeking a way out of this nightmarish labyrinth. Every breath was heavy with weight of our plan and the risks we were about to take. I knew the road to freedom was treacherous, but the alternative was being trapped, subject to these unspeakable horrors. My arm finally free, able to move around, but summoning every ounce of strength, I strapped myself back into the restraints, pushing past the searing pain coursing through my body. As the metal bit my flesh, it reminded me of the risk we were facing and the urgency of our escape. My eyes met the middle-aged man's gaze, and in that shared moment we silently vowed to break free together. As we waited the inevitable, time stood still. The door swinging open, the guards descending upon us, but as suddenly as the footsteps had come, they faded, dissipating into the distance. A glimmer of hope emerged, mingled with a sense of trepidation. Our chance had come. We couldn't afford to waste it. We cautiously repeated our attempts to free ourselves, moving with a mix of agility and stealth. Emil and Kathy intertwined their hands, their joint power sparking a sense of awe and wonder. As they focused their energy on the massive cold steel door, it yielded to their combined strength. Swinging open, with a sigh of relief, we were free. With our newfound freedom, we huddled close, our minds racing with whispered plans. The danger was palpable, but we knew our survival depended on our cunning and unity. We tapped into our psychic powers and attempted to form a mind meld to communicate and strategize. For some, the process came more naturally, while others, like me, struggled with the intense pain that accompanied the mind connection. But we persevered, knowing that our individual gifts were the key to our collective salvation. Freedom beckoned, and we seized the opportunity with zeal. We huddled together, our minds raced with whispered plans, each step laden with anticipation and danger. The corridors loomed before us, shadows concealing untold perils. Yet armed with our psychic abilities, we ventured forth, determined to overcome whatever obstacles lay in our path. The hallways brimmed with tension as we moved with calculated precision. Senses heightened and our psychic powers engaged. Our minds melded, an intricate dance of thoughts and emotions. allowing us to communicate and strategize in ways we never thought possible. Calculating each stealthy step, we made our way through the labyrinth corridors. Shadows clung to the walls, concealing the dangers that lurked around every corner. Every breath felt heavy and with anticipation, the weight of our mission pressing upon us. Inside the command center, she observed each person as they slinked down the corridor with curiosity and pride. Which one initiated the mind meld? The thin man sitting at the desk frantically typed on the keyboard into the computer system. His eyes widened in disbelief. He snapped his head, looking into the face of the one heading to the study. With a surprised voice, "Amelia, doctor." Surprised at this recent development, the doctor exhaled. He responded with a smirk on his face. "I would have thought it would have been John." Meanwhile, in the hallway, as we near our objective, a shrill alarm pierced the air, jolting us into a heightened state of alertness. The guards, alerted to our presence, materialized before us, blocking our path forward. Fear danced in our eyes, but we refused to yield. We refused to falter. It was time to unleash our psychic abilities in a show of strength and defiance. A ferocious battle of wills erupted, our minds locked in a relentless struggle against the guards. The air crackled with energy as our psychic powers collided, creating a tempestuous storm of raw power. Each member of our group channeled their unique abilities, manifesting a breathtaking display of psychic prowess that reverberated through the room. But just as our triumph seemed within reach, an unforeseen darkness descended upon us, consuming everything in its path. The guards blindsided us with their own malevolent powers, a force we had not anticipated. Our hopes flickered in the encroaching darkness, threatened to be extinguished. The balance shifted, teetering on a knife's edge. Our hopes threatened to crumble. With our hearts pounding in our chests, we fought against the overwhelming darkness, refusing to surrender to the despair that threatened to consume us. The balance between victory and defeat teetered on a precipice, our fate hanging by a rotten thread. Would our psychic abilities be enough to overcome the guard's malevolence? Or would the darkness swallow us, our hopes crushed beneath its weight? Sarah, who had been rocking back and forth in the corner, crying and muttering, sprang to her feet and marched with clenched fists towards the guards. She walked past me. I noticed her eyes had rolled back into her head. Her dazzling green eyes were gone. No pupils, despite she kept walking without a stumble. She lifted her arm. "Their powers are getting stronger. We might not hold them." The guard tried to run away from Sarah's approach. Sarah opened her mouth and growled. With a snap of her head, the guards went flying. I heard the bone-crushing thuds as they crashed into the walls. John sprinted down the long corridor. "Run, everyone, run!" I bolted down the corridor behind him. I tried to bring Sarah with me, but she would not move. Or it was more, I could not move her. She looked frozen in place. I glanced back to see a guard walk toward her. I saw a flash from his hand. When I went to run to help Sarah, the guard staggered backward. Then a mind-numbing, high-pitched alarm buzzed and scrambled through my ears. The guards scrambled to their feet. The one that had been their leader yelped, "Retreat! Retreat! They're too strong for us!" John stood in the middle of the corridor, waving his hands. "Kathy! Emile! This way!" Sarah Crumple's face shook her head as if to reanimate. The guards stampeded in the opposite direction. "Come on, Sarah! We need to go!" I grabbed her by the hand and took off down the corridor behind the others. At the command center, the thin man's face shifted to concern, pensive, startled, to see the group moving down the corridor. "Doctor, they're going towards the—" "Yes, I see them." It's not a concern, not now or ever. But what if they find the journal? You give them too much credit, the doctor's smug response. Back at the corridor. Come on, down this way, follow me. I tried my best to keep my voice at a whisper. Are you sure we're going the right way? It could be a trap. John with worry in his voice bothered me. I already questioned myself. It did not help that he challenged me as well. Yes, this is the corridor I saw in my vision. Be careful of the camera. Stay close to the wall and low. I let my intuition guide us past the surveillance cameras. I know I saw a room behind the corridors. We just needed to find it. At the command center. Doctor, you need to see this. They're about to find the door to the concealed room. Should I activate the restart protocol now? The thin man's whole body tensed as he watched the group into the room from his monitor. His hand shook as he moved his fingers closer to the number pad. I need to end this meeting. Our new subjects are outstanding. The doctor stood up. Wait, what do you mean? The curious voices from the speaker sounded almost alike. They're progressing better than the ones before. The doctor hustled from the desk into the command center. No, we have worked too hard to purge this group. They are more remarkable than any other previous groups that we have tested. The corridor outside of the concealed room. Link up, I whispered. Why? John second-guessed me again. From the corridor to the location of the room, and now, when we need to act as one, he questions again. Emil with squinted eyes looked at John. John, just link up. Amelia has gotten us this far. Okay, but they can trace us if we combine our powers. John looked worried. And I don't want to get tortured again. The floor rumbled and shook as we combined our powers. Oh, the concrete wall shook as cracks appeared on the floor and radiated out. Now I see what John meant. But how do he know? We need to stop now. John's eyes widened and his body visibly shaking, almost let go of Emil and Sarah's hands. But they squeezed his hand and held him tight. A block, as wide as the corridor, appeared hurtling towards us. John's eyes and mouth grew wider as the block sped in our direction, letting out a gasp. He could not speak, but only shake the words, the words stuck in his throat. As quickly as the block appeared, it slowed, stopped, and knocked Emil, Sarah, and John to the floor. With fear and curiosity running through us, we did a running crawl while trying to stand up, not knowing if this block would crush us all. As the walls tremble and psychic powers collide, our group stands at the crossroads of escape and an unknown darkness. The concealed room promises answers, but what lies beyond may shatter the very fabric of their reality. In the next episode, the corridors will whisper secrets, and alliances will be tested. Can they unravel the enigma, or will the darkness consume them? Brace yourselves for the next thrilling chapter of the Psychic Odyssey, The Awakening. This podcast was created and produced by Andrea.